Hey, good morning, everyone. Michael Fanning, and this is warm up 193. And it's a beautiful morning, as you can see, here in the Pacific Northwest. And today I'm kind of carrying on with kind of life planning. And we talked about that, about knowing where you're going. And one of the things that came up this morning in our session with Robin Sharma is he said, vague, right? Vague thinking leads to vague results. And a lot of us, if you think about it, vague thinking, to really boil it down, is just do we just know where we're going? Do we understand what we're doing in life? And so, one of the pieces to time management and one of the pieces to making really good, solid choices is to really understand where you're going. And so, to do that, he kind of boils it down and says, hey, if you think about this, what's your 20-year plan? So 20 years, where are you going to be? And then in 10 years, where are you going to be? Then in 5 years, where are you going to be? Then in 3 years, then in 1 year, and then every 90 days. So do you have a 90-day plan? And then what's your weekly, daily design? So I'm going to kind of break that down to make it a little bit easier for you. So if you want to think about that 20-year plan, there's a great book out there. It's called Where Will You Be in 5 Years? And I know it's only 5 years, but the questions they ask in that book can be used to ask where you're going to be in 20 years, where you're going to be in 10 years, where you're going to be in 5 years. And if you will go through that exercise and just use that book to kind of just map out some big questions about what you want to do and where you want to go. So, for example, in 20 years, how old are you going to be? And when you get to that age, what are the big things that you want to have accomplished, and what are the things that you want to be doing at that time in your life, right? So if I were to forecast out 20 years from now, well, obviously I'm probably not going to be living in this house that I live in now. I'm probably going to live in a much smaller house. I'm probably going to have a vacation place to stay in as well. Probably going to be doing a lot of traveling. What am I going to be traveling in, right? Those types of things. So you want to really think about where you want to go, because what happens is when you change that vague thinking to very focused thinking, all of a sudden your decisions that you start making compound on each other, because what they're doing is they're setting you up for that future self, for that future person. So if you use the book, it's called Where Will I Be in 5 Years? And I'll put a link to the book in this warm-up this morning just above, so you can click on it and get to that book. And I'll also put in there some other information that Robin talks about when it comes to just planning. But so you're going to do that. So you do that, and then you come down to 10 years and say, okay, we're going to be in 10 years. And then you do the same thing for your 5 years, and then your 3 year, and then your 1 year, right? And you just kind of say, where am I going to go? Like, for example, right now in our coaching world, we're working with everybody on just finalizing their 2020 year, because there's been some changes happening. And then also, starting in November, we're going to start looking at 2021, right? What does that year look like? What does that planning look like? And then the other thing too is you get down to just your day, right? And your weekly design system. So one of the things I would recommend, and this is just something that we do, is that you should have a planner. And on Sundays, you should sit down and you should open that planner up and you start going through it. So in my world, I use the productivity planner. And basically, I look at my week and say, what are the big things that need to get accomplished this week? And then when are they going to happen, right? And then what happens at that next Sunday, you do what's called a week in review. So then you go and you rate yourself. How well did I do? Did I stay on track? Did I do the things I need to do? And then what's my next week look like? And you just do that every single week. And then if you want to break it down to your days, I got to tell you, your days need to be bookend. So right now, if you're listening to this, you have to ask yourself, what's your victory hour? How do you start your mornings? How do you start your mornings every morning consistently? I got to tell you, you got to get up early, right? You got to get up early. We were just having this discussion last night at the dinner table with the kids. And my son says, if I want to start getting up earlier and I want to start, really working out and getting in shape and doing all those things, when should I get up? And I said, between 5 and 5:30. And he goes, I'm not getting up that early. I was thinking more like 11. My point is that the earlier you get up in the morning, right, the more day you have and the better you feel and you take on your day. And also too, I got to tell you, I just finished a walk with my dog. It was great. We saw a coyote. There's nobody else out. If you're up that early, nobody else is up. You have it to yourself. So, that early morning. So what's your early morning look like, and what's your routine? And then the other thing is, what are your 3 big goals you're going to accomplish for today? And you have those time blocked. You have time put aside in your calendar that says, this is when I'm going to have what's called a total bubble of focus, right? So a tight bubble of focus to where all I'm doing is I'm focusing on that item at hand. So my phones go off, my emails go off, I don't get distracted, I don't jump on social media. In fact, you may even want to use a thing called a Pomodoro clock. It's a phenomenal little app that goes on your phone, and you set a timer, and in that time frame, maybe it's 25 minutes, maybe it's 40 minutes, you can do nothing but that task at hand and get that thing done and have a tight bubble of focus, right? Because let's all remember, we are not wired to multitask. We're just not. Our brains are not set up that way. And so a lot of us do that, so we end up getting distracted. I don't even know what the time is, but they say how often we look at our phone. I think we look at our phone like every 12 minutes. That's insane. How do you get anything done if every 12 minutes you're picking up your phone and saying, what am I missing out on? Or I need to look at that email. And so what's your tight bubbles of focus for the day, right? So you're going to map out the day, or you're going to have, you're going to book in your days with a morning routine and evening routine. Are you going to put it in a planner and you're going to track it? Right? You're going to see what you're doing and how are you doing. You're going to have a week in review. So every Sunday you're going to review how did your week go, and then you're going to forecast your next week. Then you're going to look at your 90-day plan, right? What are you going to accomplish in your 90-day plan? And by the way, these are questions that you can pull from the book, Where You're Going to Be in 5 Years, which I'll put a link to. And then you're going to look at your 1-year plan. What does that look like? Map that out. Write it out. You guys are getting out a piece of paper and you're writing down, what's my 1-year plan? What's my 3-year plan? What's my 5-year plan? What's my 10-year plan? What's my 20-year plan? Put it down, because here's what I'll tell you. When you bring it to your conscious mind, when you put pen to paper, when you think about something, your brain now starts focusing on that which you want. Remember, vague thinking leads to vague results. How do we get out of having vague thinking? Guess what we do? Focus. Focus on where you want to go and what you want to do. Right? Remember, we have a finite amount of time here. Are you allowing the things inside of you to come to life? And are you also out there helping people? All right. So hopefully that was helpful. Read the book, Where Will You Be in 5 Years? Look at those. It's a good little workbook to work through. I think it's got great questions in there. It really makes you think. Okay, it really makes you think. All right, everyone. Hey, be awesome. Help somebody. Have a great day.